We bring into our factory the scrap product, which is actually tungsten carbide cutter bits from the metal machining sector, and we crush that product down into our preferred particle size. Then we will take steel, strike a 1500 amp arc, melt the steel a 1/4 inch down, and actually inject the carbide in. So now you can see how the carbide goes into the steel a 1/4 of an inch. So it's not just an overlay, it's not a surface, it actually becomes part of the metal now. And that makes it very long lasting, very strong, able to handle a lot of impact. So it typically will enhance the life of something from 4 to 1 up to 8, 9 to 1. Especially at an asphalt plant where you have usually consistent operator on a consistent machine going into the same material piles day after day after day, hundreds of times a day. And that bucket is having to ride and source this very abrasive rock. Well, our carbide surface on the bottom of that cutting edge will make that cutting edge last on average 4 times longer than a standard edge. So the machine is able just to keep making money longer rather than being in a shop getting worked on. For plants that run high wrap percentages, we actually have a version of this cutting edge where it's serrated like an old Ginsu knife. And it's specifically focused on penetrating those hardened wrap piles. Our serrated blade just cuts through them beautifully. Guy here, Randy Barrington, he ran plants for 35 years and had experience where using our cutting edge with our carbide allowed that edge to last about 4 times longer, which 5 years plant, which means now that mechanic can do something else instead of changing the head. He can be working on electronics, working on hydraulics or something. It frees up that body to go do another job. Yes. And at that point, from like a carbon standpoint, if you have a remote quarry, you're not having to send that mechanic out on the road 5 times. You're not there.
5 to install, 5 to flip. I wrote the program, so but he's got to go to the machine 5 times to install it. It's got to be flippable. It's got to go back 5 times to flip it. So with our cutting edge, it's 800% reduction in that mechanic having to touch that machine.
Nice.
Incident, exposure to liability, hurt back, hurt hand, accident on the way to and from, 800% reduction.
Nice.
You know, we're finding today where historically we had only focused on wear life. We have customers now are looking at the environmental savings, the risk reduction as a primary purchasing value, not just the wear life itself. I admit I was a doubter that would ever become the case. I was wrong.
But here we are.
Here we are.
Very good.